Hello, hi, if you did not watch last week's vlog. Eczema. We're not talking about anything that's happening here because eczema. But what we are going to talk about is me finishing series. I think the last time I checked, I think I'm in the middle of 72, maybe 73 now, series. It was 71 and I've started 2 new ones this month. So I should be at 73. It is an issue. This is a constant issue. Last year, this vlog series was I would finish 1 series in basically a week. And that would be it. That would be the whole vlog. Here's the thing. I have a lot of series that are either duologies or there's only 1 book left, right? So, I can't like read those for that type of premise. And then also reading like 3 historical romances by the same person back to back to back while finishing a series kind of makes me sick of reading historical romances. So for this year, I have decided that instead of doing that, it's just gonna be me continuing series. Basically mood reading the series I'm in the middle of. There's plenty to pick from, honestly. Now, I say that the theme for this month is gonna be smutty. I have so many options. There may be 1 manga because I do have the next book in Oran right now from the library, so I might as well pick that up. But I have like other options from Libby. But on a smut king, I don't know. The 2 main things. The one that's a possibility, I have both the first novella and the second full-length book in the Lillian Lark series. I read the first one, Stalked by the Kraken, second half of last year, I think around August of last year, right? I think the novella is taken by the lake monster, something like that. Cover here. Right? Other than that, we have the mindfuck series. I read book 1 in that series. It's a 5-book series. The whole thing is like 700-ish pages. If you buy it physically, it's like a whole bind of like this big, but I'm reading them from Kindle Unlimited, so I'm getting them individually, right? Which is another reason why I want to read them this month, because I won't have Kindle Unlimited next month. And so, yeah, I read the first book middle of last week. And since then, I've been thinking about this book. I accidentally got to 69% in the second book last night, sidetracked, right? And I'm gonna go finish it like right now. Should I read other things? Like, this is the day before the previous vlog goes up and I haven't even finished or started the last book for that vlog, but instead I'm gonna read this. So maybe I should talk about it. The Mindfuck series is about Lana and Logan. Lana, hear me out, content warnings, so many of them. But she was kidnapped and assaulted and they attempted to kill her and killed her brother when she was a teenager, right? And so this series takes place 10 years afterwards in her efforts to hunt them down and kill them one by one, being a serial killer and a smart one at that. Okay, the way she makes herself look like she's a man, like she wears backpacks on both the front and the back filled with rocks and men's boots that have specific things in the toes to make it so she has like a normal step, not like she's a person who is not a men's shoes foot size, wearing men's shoes to make it look like when she's breaking into their houses, like she is 150-pound to 200, I think it's actually closer to 200-pound man. And they assume she is built and strong and 6 foot. She's like 5'5". Is she strong? Can she kick ass? Yes. But she's 5'5" and a woman. Yes, that is happening. Also, at the same time, the romance aspect is with Logan, who is the FBI agent, specifically profiler, who's in charge of her case, like her killings. That's the premise of the whole entire series. Okay? As the second one, Sidetracked, tells you from the name, I assumed there's like things with the end of the first one with another serial killer named Boogeyman possibly going after Logan, because he's also going after that serial killer, right? And so there's like theories that he's gonna go after Lana instead, right? To get back at Logan. She's prepared. She's ready to fight this man. But she has also killed another. She mainly goes after men who hurt, not only men, but people, mostly men who hurt, girls and children and women in specific ways. I think you can pick up what I'm putting down, right? And like, I get it. It's a lot of me going, she's cutting off specific body parts. I'm just like, ooh, good times. Anyways, it's also a comedy in my heart. It's really hilarious. I'm having a good time. She has already gone off and taken care of someone else, taken out someone else that wasn't on her list, right? And she's planning also on the boogeyman. So that's two, and I assume that's the whole entire plot of this one. Also, in around the 45% mark, they kind of broke up. There's like this thing where he was in danger, but he forgot, and like she heard that he was like someone in his team was injured and in the hospital, right? She thought it may have been him. Was calling him, texting him a bunch. He forgot to reply. So she runs to the hospital to check on him, and he's like, how dare you be here? And she's really pissed. So she goes off, switches cars, takes out her phone battery and whatnot to go like do some stabby times. And kicks the protective detail off her property, all these stuff, right? And she's all like, we're broken up, but he does not know that, and he's trying to look for her. And also he has come to the revelation that she was purposely told that someone on his team was injured without telling her that he was fine, to get her in the hospital so that the boogeyman could track her down, an attempt for the other police department to like the normal police department, not the FBI, to get the arrest when the guy goes after her, which is questionable in so many ways. Just in general, the police are very questionable in this, except for Logan. One of his main partners literally goes into her whole entire background and starts like hacking into like her medical records, which is illegal. She brings that up. Thankfully, she's good at covering her bases, so like there's no way for her to know that she's not actually who she says she is, okay? But yes, that is what's happening. The first book in the series, I rated 4.5 stars. So there's that. And I think that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go finish this book after I get ready for bed. And I'll probably read the third one tomorrow if I have time, right? Like, it's just a wild time. This series has taken over my brain. Chemistry in general. Imagine Mara Dyer, but more stabby and adult. Which is why it's so me-coded, right? Hello, hi. Guess who finished Sidetracked? That was the name of the second one? Last night. It was me. I did it. I finished it. I rated it 4.5 stars, which is the same way I rated the first one. I don't want to go into great detail, but one, she did get sidetracked. An icon ended the way that I assumed the first one was gonna end. Which is so funny to me. I remember texting the fish when I was finishing the first book of the series, being like, hey, I swear to God, if it ends in the way I think it's gonna end, it will be 5 stars. And then it ended in a different way. And I was like, okay, but it was still really good, so 4.5 stars. And then the way I read, like, this one, and the very end of it was, like, the last line, oh my God, was what I assumed the end of the first one was gonna be. And I was just like, how dare you? I need to read the next one stat. So that's the plan. I would also like to read the Lake Monster one at some point. Take a break and maybe read that one. But I'm kind of high-key obsessed with the series. I need help. It's fine. I did just talk for like 2 hours about this book because we recorded the episode about it ahead of schedule. Very ahead of schedule, like a whole month ahead of schedule. Look at me go. So I don't really have any specific details off the top of my head other than all the like little tiny nitty. So like my brain's empty now that I've just brain vomited all the nitty gritty details of the book. I just like head empty. That ending, oh my god. There was a revelation at like 74% of the way through about the past stuff and how it affected her, and I went, oh my god. Around 50% of the way through, we met someone else from the same town who was also a victim, and I went, oh my god. Around that point, I told Bestie I was gonna go ride into town to fight all the men in Delaney Grove. That's what it's called. I was like me on the way to Delaney Grove, and then I think I sent a gif of Chuck Norris punching the air. Listen, hear me out. I'm in the right. And then the ending, some weird things happening with the Hadley character. That's her name. Hadley character, who is gay. But there's like a lot of this book was her background, but also her being suspicious of Lana's background. So that's a thing. And also there was a whole section where Logan started connecting Lana's kills to another kill, and then starting to realize how wrong they were about their assumed assumptions about the Lana kills and the killer and all this other stuff. I'm getting like scarily close to the idea of the why and how and who. Like, literally got so close, and then just like at the end made a U-turn, because there's like no way a woman could have carried a body that large. And the way I'm just there, like, I'm expecting the truth to come out in the fourth one, because the title of that one has to do with secrets, I'm pretty sure. I forget, I keep on forgetting the title of the third one, but it's like Scarlet something, which has to do with her killer name. So good times. Hello, welcome to what I'm lovingly calling wearing sunglasses so you don't have to see what's happening here for the eczema. I don't know, it was doing good for like 2 days. Why did I wake up this morning and it was bad again? Why? Anyways, I can't see anything. This is fun. I just finished Scarlet Angel, which is the third book in the Mindfuck series. This one is very much more of, it's a mix of basically the views, how other people outside of Lana and Jacob, being the duo that kill people, view Lana's killings, especially the revenge aspect, right? That is the basic background of this one, hence the name, because Scarlet Slayer is her serial killer name, and one of this girl she saved in the second one calls her angel, so also she starts viewing herself as like a revenging angel as well. Also something connected with what her brother said right before he died. All around good times. Lovely. This one also focuses on Lana having a friend, a girlfriend, girl best friend. It's the first time she's ever had one, and we love her. We love her. We love it for her. And her girlfriend happens to be gay. I love how there's just like 3 characters that are just gay, and it's just like, yeah, good times. I think there's 4 kills in this one, based off of looking at the list at the beginning of the 4th one, right? So good times. We love it. The way I was so worried after the end of the second one what was gonna happen with the boogeyman, the other serial killer, because like I recognize she can body bitch in like 5 seconds, but like I was still worried. I didn't have to be worried. Okay. It was really funny, dude. Sometimes there's a whole section in this that's really funny. Like, they all have to go to, the FBI have to go to Delaney Grove, which is the town where this all started, right? To look into the possibilities on why and try to figure out who it is and all this stuff. And so one of the female agents, Hadley, tells Logan that he should bring Lana along because she's been having a hard time on her own after everything that happens in the beginning of this book, which is a lie to try to get him to take Lana with, right? Because she there's things happening in the background. So she's like, hey, you should take her with. And he's like, it's too dangerous. And she says, well, he's a revenge killer, and so if anything, he'd go after you if he focuses on the FBI, not her. She's not his type. And then he says, oh, I don't know. And then another guy enters. And she's like, I'm trying to talk him into taking Lana with because of this. And he's all like, oh, that's a good idea. And then Logan's like, no, that's a bad idea because what if the killer targets her because of me? And he's like, well, he's a revenge killer, so he would, right? So, he would target you, like, he wouldn't go after a small woman. That makes no sense. And then he's all like, Logan's all like, well, neither one of you are profilers, what do you know? And then a profiler enters the room, and he's like, what's going on? And they're like, hey, we're trying to talk him into taking Lana with us because of these reasons. And he's all like, oh, yeah, that'd be a good idea. And then Logan's like, no, because what if the killer focuses on me and attacks her instead? And he goes, yeah, but he's a revenge killer, so he wouldn't go after Lana. That's not his victimology. And then the chapter ends. That was so funny. I was dying. Anyways, I reached 77%, I think, last night, and then I finished it off the first thing this morning. It's good. I rated it 4.5 stars like the other two. It's good times. We're in Delaney Grove now. They got there. Some weird things are happening. Hinting at the extent of things. I'm pretty sure the fourth one is the one where we get answers about everything, right? Because one is titled All the Lies, and the titles do very much have something to do with each one. But also, the fact that the third one ends with them sitting down with one of the very few people who tried to stop what happened in the past to Lana and her brother, but they threatened her, and so she didn't. She didn't tell anyone and whatnot. So now the FBI are at her door. So they threatened her son. So she makes sure that her son is safe, and secure and, whatnot. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to tell you everything. And that's how it ends. So I'm pretty sure the fourth one's going to be like that mixed with Lana out here having a good time. She's like, I'm home, bitches. Time to cause chaos. And I love her. In case you didn't know. Anyways, I feel like I need to take a break from reading the series because it's taken over my whole entire brain chemistry. Like, it's an issue. So I think I'm going to do the Lillian Lark, the something like monster. You can see it. It's on the thumbnail. Like, I'm going to read that one for the rest of today, and then I'll read the fourth mindfuck book tomorrow / tonight. Tonight / tomorrow, because I usually start reading them late at night, and then in like 3 hours I read 90% of it, and then I go to bed, and then I finish it off because I have issues. There's other things I could bring up, but I don't want to go into it because, like, it's a whole series and whatnot. But yeah, exciting times. We love it. I'm gonna go eat my lunch of PB&J while I watch YouTube and put on my actual glasses so I can see. What if I film all the time like this? I'm about to get ready for bed because it's like 9 p.m. I just made some fancy tea because I'm cool like that, as you can tell. But I read all of Found by the Lake Monster. Hot take, the plot is she's in the woods hunting for a lake monster with her coworkers, and then gets lost in the woods, and he finds her. He thinks that she is the witch that the matchmaker he went to found for him. The matchmaker happens to be Rose from the first book in the series, right? And they quickly fall into, like, interest with each other. They get along. She's into monster smut, so she doesn't freak out about the fact that he is a lake monster, right? And so then he takes her to his house. There's like this whole thing that he's like in heat and needs to mate because he's like running out of time to have children and all this stuff. But she's not actually the witch. That's supposed to be his date. And so like they've already made out when he gets the call and learns this. So he gets upset, tries to take her home, but then he sees how all her coworkers treat her, and she sticks up for him and all this stuff and protects his identity. So then he takes her back home. Some mating happens. There is a thing. What is with monster romance? Can anyone have a normal penis? There is nodding, and also when he nods, there's like egg implantation. And like I read that content warnings in the beginning of the book. She has them right in the very beginning, so I knew, but I still was like, what the fuck? Anyways, she's down. Because that's like what she likes to read and she's into anyways. So yeah, and there is a way that they can have kids if she drinks this special potion. And so she agrees, and they live happily ever after. That's it. It's like 100 pages. It's shorter than the next mindfuck book. Which is funny. Speaking of mindfuck, I'm gonna start book 4. And I'm gonna finish it tomorrow morning. I'm scared. And then this weekend will be book 5. And then, Monday and Tuesday next week, I was trying to figure out what to read. Because there's no way book 5's gonna take me more than a few hours, right? Over this weekend. So I was thinking the second full-length book in the Monster Smut series that was in, right? Because I happen to have access to it. Because Kindle unloaded. So might as well get it while I have access to it, right? And pick that up. And then, I mean, planning ahead, I already put the second novella in that series on hold at Libby. Because they only have the first one and the novellas, which is weird because you can't get the novellas from Kindle Unlimited. And I already own the first one. Because I bought it. Because I'm crazy. Anyways, that's the update. I'll talk to you at some point tomorrow. Probably not until later. Let's be real. It's gonna be after I finish the 4th book. And it's gonna be like later in the day because I have other things I have to do. But that's fine. Maybe we'll see this again. This is such a great look, you know? We're back at it again. This one itches a lot. It's the next day. I am emotionally drained from this book. The 4th mindfuck book, right? Mixed with the fact that we recorded episodes of the podcast for like nearly 6 hours. So my voice is dying. My throat hurts. I won't be drinking a shit ton of tea. Right. But that's fine. I can drink that tea while I read this 5th one. I almost said 6. No, there's only 5. Anyways. Book 4 destroyed me. We don't need to talk about it. Except we do. What even, okay, so I was right that this is the one where all the answers come through. We learned everything that happened that night, before that night, that led up to that night, and the things that happened afterwards that led to Lana and her rampage. Speaking of Lana and rampage, I'm kind of worried about that in the 5th one. It's fine. So, you know, I got to read about her flaying a man alive. That's fun. I got to read about her, calling the people of the town sheep, and then, when they finally stop doing everything the sheriff says, say, "Bah, bitch." I also got to read about her spitting her gum into another girl's hair, who happens to be Logan's ex. All around, great time. And I don't want to go into detail because I recorded 2 hours and 45 minutes episode about it. Not that long ago. But 2, I don't want to spoil it because it's good, right? So, like, I don't know what to say except the ending. Every time it's the ending, isn't it? The only one that, like, low-key wasn't like that was the third one, and that's because it left off with, like, okay, I'm gonna tell you all the secrets. And then this one immediately starts with all the secrets about that specific night, and then they have to go to another guy about details on how it led up to the thing that led up to that happening, right? And then they had to go to another guy about that night that led up to that night, like 2 nights later. So, and all the revelations, and then some other stuff. Anyways, we love how Leonard totally figured it out, because, like, we all know that Logan has to figure it out at some point, that she's the one doing the killings, right? And so now 2 other people know, because Hadley knows. Which led to a grade A friendship, honestly. It's so funny. And then Leonard figures it out, and then he goes, no, there's no way I'm right. And believes that he was wrong and just crazy the whole time. When he believed that. And then they learn that she has a partner. And then he goes, oh shit, it was her. And so then he explains it to Logan, how he connected the dots. And let's just say Logan's reaction was something. He very much believes, he does not know that she is the girl. She is the victim, right? He thinks that either she's killing these people by proxy with a weird obsession about this family, or, especially since I have a weird connection, or he believes, either that or that, she has some kind of psychosis. The way I'm moving my hands so much that my watch doesn't inform me I did many steps for the hour. But she has some kind of psychosis, and someone manipulated her with that, probably Jake, who happens to be Lana's actual partner, into doing the killings, right? So his reaction is, don't tell anyone, and then go angry fuck. She realizes in the process of that, oh, he knows, she's sobbing, she's all like, I'm sorry, all this stuff, and then it's very clear that he doesn't know what he thinks he knows. Like, he has the basics, but he doesn't know the extent, right? And so, he handcuffs her naked to the bed, and then when she tries to explain, he forcefully silences her, which, you know, reminds her of, that night and, the time afterwards, which, valid, yeah, so after he leaves angry, with her still handcuffed, she breaks herself out very quickly, but, she, is, sobbing, and, to turn off the pain of him breaking her heart, she goes fully numb, which is basically her serial killer persona, and I'm scared for the rampage. I'm scared. I'm worried. The next one's like 170 pages. This one was 140. Anyways, I love how I said I wasn't going to go into detail, but I went into detail about the end of the book. Whoops. I didn't go into detail about the revelations, so have fun with that. I did make a joke. There's this other character. There's so many characters in this book. Johnson, who was the federal agent in the town investigating stuff in the previous stuff that happened when all that shit went down, right? And his name is Johnson. And I may have made the joke that I want to kick Johnson in his Johnson, because I'm funny. But yeah, I didn't give you any of the revelations throughout the book. There's a lot. Trust me. Also, fuck Kyle. Was I laughing at the filleting scene? Yes. We don't need to look into that any further, okay? Anyways, I'm scared for the next one. This one's like 140 pages. That one's like 170. I am going to start it tonight. Despite the fact that I feel like I could sleep for 10 years after everything this book put me through. I feel like, do you ever get the feeling that, like, after reading a book that you could run a marathon from all the adrenaline gives you? Because I haven't felt that since May when I reread Legend and read Blood Mark for the first time. Back to back. And that's what this book did to me. So, of course, I rated it 5 stars. Whoops. I may label the whole entire series as my favorite of the month. It's a good chance it's gonna be on the favorite of the year list. Like, who am I? Should this just be the look? It's Sunday afternoon. I just finished the Mindfuck series. I just read the last one. The revelations on who the original killer is, wild. As soon, like, Logan was all like, shoot, I figured it out, and goes to confront them, and he starts explaining everything, how it all happened, how he got stopped, blah, 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 to him, and then at the end of this whole monologue, he says his name. Ed, I, sitting there within like 2 paragraphs into this monologue, which is a pretty long monologue, I figured it out. It clicked in my brain. I was right. Oh my god. Also, Lana. there's this one scene where she's fighting a bunch of the deputies, and she's doing a bunch of flips and all this stuff, and explain why my brain just pictured a Resident Evil game. Like, it's hilarious. But the ending, adorable. Everything's great. Everything goes to a head. It's just like nothing bad to say. Like, the end, it's done. It's good. I rated the last one 4.5 stars. I may up my rating of the first one to 5 stars. Cause that one is, I think, tied for favorite with the fourth one, which I rated 5 stars, right? And I do not care that only 2 of them, either 1 or 2 of them, are rated 5 stars. I labeled the whole series as 5 stars in my tracker. I do not care. The only thing at this point in my life who could even touch this is Legendborn, but that's not done, so I have to wait. But that's the only thing that could touch this series right now, because anyways, we love Alana. Just everything that happened. Everything. Also, she has a cat now. We love that. Good times. People are happy and together. And they're living their lives happily ever after. Occasionally killing people. It's fine. the way the book ends with their anniversary, and their anniversary, he finds someone for her to kill, and that's how they celebrate their anniversary. And the way I went, oh. Anyways, I'm normal. This whole series gets a 5. It's great. I don't know what else to say. I will read the second full-length novel in the Monster Smut one, the Lillian Lark. There's like an actual title of the series, but I don't remember what it is. The Lillian Lark one. After I read another book, there's like 2 other books that I've been reading for months, and one of them I only have a few chapters left on, so I'm going to finish that one probably tonight, and then read the Lillian Lark tomorrow, because it may be 400 pages, but I can read that shit in like 3 hours. Okay? And that's the plan. If I have time, I'll read the volume of Auron. There we go. My brain just short-circuited there. But if not, that's fine too. And then I'll just read what I want for a week. Amazing. Hello, hi, welcome to me finishing the vlog at 7 p.m. The night goes up. It's fine. I spent most of the day finishing the last book for this, because that's who I am as a person. It's okay. No, I don't need these anymore. Like, it's not that bad. Like, it's not noticeable anymore. It's just for the joke at this point. Anyways, book, Deceived by the Gargoyles, that's the name of it. I started Monday, read 13%. Got to 30%, I think, last night. I'm finished it just now, like a minute ago. Things. So the main character, Grace, goes to the main character from the first one to be matched and whatnot with a partner. and she's matched with Elliot, who's a gargoyle, and they start dating. Things are going really great. They're a happy relationship, but it's like he's clearly into her, but won't show any signs of intimacy, like not even kissing her goodnight or anything like that. Uh, and then he talks about like his big happy family, and that's something she wants because like she does never grow up with that. She did not have a happy family growing up, so she is like a little suspicious. Ends up meeting who she thinks is his brothers, but are actually his two other mates, Alistair and Broderick. I want to say their names are like something obscenely stupid, like Braidweather or something like that. That's actually probably kind of close. So yeah, she gets upset that he kept the fact that he has two other mates from her, especially since during the mating process, or not the mating process, but the matchmaking process, she made a point to be like, no, I don't want to be in a pairing that's more than two, because of her history of being cheated on and having to deal with like the jealousy of that type of situation, right? Now, the reason why Elliot did this is because their clan leader, they're all gargoyles, died recently, like within the past year, and Alistair had become the new leader, but because of that, there's like been more of a like strain in their relationship, and so he thought, when he saw Grace, he was like, hey, hear me out. I think she can fix this for us. Right? So he literally stole the information that Rose wrote down about Grace when interviewing Grace for the process to make sure he gave the right answers to make it so that he would be matched with her, which is a little suspicious and a little weird. Let me tell you, Grace does not immediately accept his apology for anything. Alistair is very immediately, when they have like the first meeting of all three of them together to see if like they're compatible, he is immediately standoffish. He doesn't know how to talk about his emotions. He's a big gruff guy, okay? There's other things with this guy named Theo, who I think may be related to Jackson, who was the villain of the first book, right? Like having gone on a date with her one time, and like she had been on a history of really bad dates, and he spent the whole date just texting on his phone, and then asked her for a second date, and also asked her to make a good impression on her father for him, because like she comes from like a high power, rich upper class witch family, even though she like went independent and all this stuff. One, her mother, God, right? At one point she gets there's been an issue where he's been like sending her flowers constantly, even though she keeps on telling him not to, right? To the point where the front desk / security at her apartment is no longer sending her up to the apartment. They're now just knowing them as more harassment. And then he sends them to her work, which she finds suspicious and weird because like she never tells any dates about where she works. And so, especially first dates, right? Especially when they're like that, right? And so then she learns that her mother told him, and she's like, he's a nice guy, and he's like, he was rude the whole day. She's like, fine. Anyways, there's like some other things that he does throughout it, like break into her apartment and kill a bunch of birds, and then cast a spell so when she enters the room, the birds reanimate and attack her. He also trashes her car and writes a bunch of sly and whore and monster fucker all over it, right in front of her place of work, where then her boss comes out and is all like, hey, you can't work here until this is figured out. I was like, after the apartment break-in, dude, the way that I didn't expect classism in trying to talk about a crime to be a thing, because God, the way that like when she tried to talk to what is the police in this universe about when he broke into her apartment, they're like, technically there's nothing, like the whole time the guy was ignoring her, just like, okay, yeah, sure. And then because she didn't even want to do it because she felt like that it was embarrassing. And then as soon as she gives her full name for the statement, he's all like, oh, you're from one of those families? Okay, we'll look into it, but technically there's nothing we can do because there's technically no proof that it's him. Whoops. Anyways, when he does the shit to her car, one, it's in broad daylight and he used magic, which is illegal, so now they're actually looking for him, but he's in hiding. Cool. Fun times. And then see this whole, so it's in front of her work, and her boss is like, technically you can't work here until this is fixed because we have rare, valuable things here. And so if something is ruined because of that, there's nothing we can do about it. Like, it's something about security. And she's like, okay, if you care so much about security, maybe you should look into yours. Because this happened in broad daylight. And they didn't notice. And he's like, I will. This is important because I just checked. He is alone. And she's in the third one with her best friend. Okay, there's 2 characters that are human whose names start with E. And Eloise is the clan mother for the gargoyles. So it's like Amelia or something like that for her human best friend who doesn't know about any of this magic stuff until cough cough Theo kidnaps her to force Grace to marry and soulbind with him. So there's nothing they can do. And then tries to kill her when it doesn't go as planned. Oh, and also he's doing all this because her parents, specifically her father, said that if he marries her, because she's like doing things outside the family, like how dare she, then he'll give Theo a bunch of money and he's in a bunch of gambling debt. Right. So that's why he's doing it. But this is part because the boss guy, and Amelia, who is the human who doesn't know about the magic stuff until she's kidnapped, are the main couple in the third one. Plus another guy that is already mated with the boss guy. This is important because I just read there was an epilogue. The epilogue was just it literally was like 3 chapters of a long sex scene of them reading. And then it was a very long epilogue where they go to the thing at the matchmaker thing, because like the payment for it is that you when you mate, you do the mating in there, and then the magic from your mating goes back into the place, and that's that's how it works, right? That's a whole thing in the first one, right? So that was the epilogue, them doing that. Sure, fine, whatever. And then it goes to like this bonus, like 2 pages, where she has like sees this random crate at work, and then she has an email from the boss man being like, hey, you need to look into this. And so she opens it up, and then being all like, what damage could a book do? And then the third one is about how she's cursed by this book, and that him and his mate are the only ones willing to help her with that. So good times. We love it. There's stuff about classism, and about family dynamics and stuff. Like, the gargoyles are very much found family, which is very much what she needs, because as someone who grew up in a toxic family, especially with her mother, I get it, right? So that whole aspect, and then there's also about body positivity and all that fun stuff. It's fine. It's fine. I don't understand why it needs to be 400 pages. That's why it took me so long. It's 400 pages. It takes a quarter of the book for it to get to the point where they sit down. I think it's a quarter of the way book when basically she finds out, oh, you've actually already been mated to 2 other people and you've been lying to me this whole time, right? I remember it being like exactly 25% around that time. That point in the book. Like, if that's making sense. I don't think it's making sense. It's either then or when they're sitting down at the dinner right after that to like communicate, right? When 25% hats, and that's when like it starts getting interesting, because like we as the reader know that he's lying to her and what he's lying to her about, and she's already said that she doesn't want to be in a relationship with more than one person, right? So we as the reader recognize how this is not okay, right? Already. So it kind of makes investing in the relationship before he tells everyone very hard to do. And since it's 25% of the book, which is 100 pages of the book, it was just so slow. I fell asleep at one point. The first night, the reason why I got to 12%, I literally fell asleep at 9:30 p.m. because I fell asleep to it. Which I guess is great for my insomnia. But yeah, that aspect was fine. Once it got to that point, it was good. I was gonna complain about Alistair not communicating his feelings and that causing some miscommunication, but that's like a main aspect, the main thing with him, because they all each have like their own thing from their past that makes the relationship a little bit harder, and how breaking down those barriers is a thing, and for her it's like needing to understand that she deserves love and caring the way that they give it to her, right? So like his is the fact that he doesn't talk about his feelings. That's his, so I can't complain about that, because that's the kind of the whole point. There's a part, because I do building for like their business, they refurbish buildings and whatnot, so they make her her own room that's just basically a library slash workroom for her to do spells, and just because a lot of her witchy powers have to do with like physically touching paper, very similar to Rose in the first one. So like that's like a whole thing where they basically make her a library with a comfortable couch and everything, for her to like hide in if she wants a moment alone. And the way I went, that was my favorite part. Anyways, better than the novella, not as good as the first book of the series, so 3.5. That's right in the middle. We're in the middle. The moral of the story is Monster Smut is okay most of the time. Especially, listen, no matter what, I'm gonna like the Lillian Larks because they're well written. It's just whether or not I actually like the relationship in it. Though I am fighting the urge to read the third one immediately with that synopsis mixed with everything I just learned from the second one. I gotta do it soon, right? Because like, sure, there's a novella in between them, but technically it doesn't matter. It's literally just says in the synopsis you can read it as a standalone, but it's better if you read Deceived by the Gargoyles first before you read it. But it doesn't say anything about the novella, so I think I can just go right to that and skip over the novella for now. So I may do that. That seems like something I may do. So good times. Other things. I don't think so. Mindfuck good shit. Monster Smut. Okay. That was the past, like, I don't know, 10 days of me recording this. I gotta go edit it. I'm ending now. The worst part of me recording these is I can't see how long I've been recording, so I may have been rambling for like 10 minutes. I don't need that for myself. I don't need that. Anyways, until the next video. Bye.